Faith here. So as I said in the previous slide, today I'll be talking about the principles of design and the keywords that you're supposed to know in graphic design, or let me simply say some keywords that you're supposed to know as a graphic designer. So under the principles of design, I'm going to first define the word graphic designing. So graphic designing is a visual representation of an idea which can include type or graphic elements into a pleasing and effective finished product. So in simpler terms, I can say it's simply creating visual content to communicate a message to a specific audience. So what do I mean to communicate a message to a specific audience? Let me give this example where you create a flyer or a poster. People will be asking, what is this person trying to communicate to us? You see, so meaning you are trying to communicate a message to the audience, or in other words I can say it's about using image, background, text combined with principles to communicate a message. So I also define who a graphic designer is, because you cannot start learning something minus you knowing what you are starting. So who is a graphic designer? Though it is not here on my slide, but I'll try to define it. So a graphic designer is someone who creates visual content to communicate a message to a specific audience. And I also talk about the characteristic of a graphic designer, though it is not here, but I have to define it so that you get to know who you are and you get to know what you are starting. Characteristic of a graphic designer: 1, you have to be creative, innovative, and hardworking, but more especially you have to be creative. So minus you having these, then you're not qualified to be a graphic designer. You see? Let's also talk about the principles here. So principles are the concepts and rules a graphic artist used to create, to organize, and to arrange a design structure. So several principles are integrated to create pleasing and effective finished products. So here down on B here I've clicked on are the design principles, or are the things that help us to organize and arrange a design structure. So one of the things that are there in the design principles are balance. So talking about balance is the arrangement and distribution of all elements within the layout to create a pleasing and finished design. So in other words, we can say balance is the distribution of the visual weight of an object, colors, texture, space in composition. So if we were to imagine, to say, what if the balance was a scale? If the balance was a scale, it can help the design to be stable. Okay, let me give an example. If we were to put something on the scale, you realize to say it gives us the correct measurements and help us in the stability as we are doing the weight. Okay, let's proceed. We also talk about the 2 types of balancing. So talking about 2 types of balancing: 1, there's the asymmetrical, which is the informal balance. 2, there's the symmetrical, which is the formal balance. So the asymmetrical or the informal balance is the use of various weighted elements throughout the page while still maintaining a balanced look. this type of balance provides more relaxed design. So, shedding more light on the asymmetrical. The asymmetrical, this creates a sense of dynamic and movements of a design. Okay, so I'm going to move my slide and you're going to see the examples of the asymmetrical. So before I show the examples, I would like to also define the symmetrical balance or the formal balance. So the symmetrical, the formal balance is the use of similarly weighted elements on either side of the design to create a near mirrored effect. Formal designs use the type of balance. So also shedding more light on the symmetrical balance. It's fair and balanced. It also creates a sense of order, stability and calmness. So I'm going to move my slide so that we shed more light on the symmetrical and the asymmetrical. Okay, so here is the symmetrical balance or the formal balance. So when we look at this picture, we realize to say the words are well balanced. There are words which are to the left this side and the words which are to the right this side, and also there are words in the middle which makes them to be symmetrical. Let me give an example of work that we used to do in back then in secondary school. We used to be taught about the symmetrical balance. So when one of the examples were the leaf and an A4 paper. When you get an A4 paper, then we fold it. We realized to say it was making a symmetrical line on the middle, which was making it to be symmetrical balanced. So a symmetrical balance, it can either be vertical, horizontal or diagonal, for as long as it is having the same size as you make the line pass on the design. Okay, we also go down here, we can see a seesaw where there are two squares here down and also a triangle down. So talking about this seesaw, realize to say these two squares here, they have the same shape and they are also on the same level, which is making them to be symmetrical. And also we take a look at the triangle. It's on the middle, making a straight line to the making a vertical line. So you see to say this triangle has made a line that is making it to be balanced up. Okay, I'll also shed more light as we go to the next slide. So next here is the asymmetrical balance. So when you take a look at the asymmetrical balance, realize to say the words are too relaxed. What do I mean? When we see the words, they are not properly arranged as they are supposed to be. When we take a look at these other words here, we realize to say they are in big fonts, and the other words this side, they're in small fonts, but they are balanced at the same design. So we also go down here, we take a look at the seesaw. So down here we see to say the seesaw has got the big square and the small square, also the triangle here down. So and take a look at this one, we realize to say the big circle is being balanced up by a small circle, which makes it to be too relaxed, not realizing to say the big circle is one which is balancing up the small circle. Okay, we also move here down where we can see the row of thirds. So under the row of threads, we get to see two pictures. There's this one which is symmetrical and this one which is asymmetrical. So when you take a look at this one which is symmetrical, realize to say it is well filled in the frame, it is well centered in the frame, than the one here which is asymmetrical. It is not well centered on the frame but is very relaxed. So these two images represent different application of row of threads. Both conform to rule but evoke two distinct emotions. The image on the left has more symmetrical, which is this one, and because of the image because of that, the image is centered in the frame. So the image on the right, which is this one, the asymmetrical, it provides more relaxed feel. Okay, when you take a look at this one to your right, you realize say it provides more relaxed feel. So I also move again I also move to my next slide. So the pic here to my left, it shows the symmetrical balance, and the pic here to my right hand, it shows the asymmetrical design. So as I give the example on the symmetrical, when we get the A4 paper, then we fold it to give us the vertical, and again when we fold it to give us the horizontal, which makes it to be symmetrical. As we can see here, the shapes down here on the yellow here, it shows us how the line was crossing on it, which makes it to be symmetrical. You go to the asymmetrical. Asymmetrical is very balanced, such that it creates a sense of dynamism and movement, and it doesn't show the stability as it is supposed to be. So when I share these videos, make sure that you go through them 3 times and also study more about what I've said. Thank you very much. I've come to an end of this video.